很年幼开始，
the focus was on the development of your mind.
所有的观点、所有的焦点都在于你的智商、理性的长大成熟。
It's focused on educating your mind.
怎么样能够好好的教育你的知识？
When I went to school,
当我那时候上学的时候，
I had a lot of problems at my home.
在我自己的家里面，其实有很多的问题。
And so in a lot of ways I was emotionally quite distressed as a young person.
所以当我是年轻人的时候，其实我整个的情绪是非常非常的被捆绑跟搅
But
扰
my
的。
teachers used to say to my mother and father,
但是我的老师常会跟我的父母亲这样说，
they'd say, you should expect the highest level of education for your son.
他们常会跟我父母说，你可以期待你的孩子完成是最高等的教育。
They'd say you should expect that he will be a doctor or a lawyer or an ambassador for the country. That level.
他们都会跟我父母亲说，你可以期待这个孩子将来的成就，要不是医生，就是律师，要不然就是国家的外派的那种大使。
So I went through school, top of my class and top of the year and stuff.
所以我从小读书就是班上第一名。
And then when I went to high school,
当我到高中的时候，
I couldn't emotionally handle the classroom.
我没有办法在我的情绪上面面对高中的班上的这些同学，
So I was often the missing student,
所以我常常都是那个翘课的学生，
the empty seat in the class.
就是我的位置永远是空的。
And I would spend maybe 2 or 3 months each year, one day at a time, but not at school.
那我一年当中大概有2-3个月是不在学校的，但不是连续2-3个月，但是我就是会旷课，
But when
连
it
续
came
加起来
time。for exams,
可是当要考试的时候，
I could spend a half an hour looking at the material for the exam and pass the exam easy.
然后我只要在考前半个小时复习所有的东西，我就可以轻松的考过所有的考试。
I just say that to say,
我讲这个的意思是什么？
I do have a good mind.
就是我其实我的大脑是很好的。
And we spend a lot of our time educating our minds.
知道，可是过去我们花很多的时间是在训练我
And
们
our
的大
minds
脑。
are very important.
我们的心思意念很重要，没有错。
But when it comes to Christian maturity,
可是当我们讲到基督徒的生命成熟度的时候，
and every stage of Christian growth,
还有在基督徒长大成熟的每一个阶段，
the education of your mind does not mature you.
你的知识上面的成长不会使你属灵生命成长。
God's relating to us is a relating to our hearts.
当神跟我们互动的时候，是跟我们的心在互动。
And He wants to develop our hearts and mature and heal them.
他要帮助我们的心慢慢的长大成熟，得到医治，得到恢复。
Another verse that you'll know quite well is in Jeremiah 29,
另外一个我们熟悉的经文就是耶利米书第29章。
and it says this.
耶利米书第29章这样说
You'll probably just interpret me. It says, "You will find me when you search for me with all of your heart.
你寻求我，当你全心的寻求，你就会寻见。
You shall find me," he says,
他说你会寻见，
"when you search for me with all of your heart."
当你全心来寻找的时候，就会寻见。
In other words, your mind is not going to help you to get close to God.
换句话说，你的头脑、你的思想没有办法让你更靠近神。
And when I was 21,
当我21岁的时候，
I started to work with a man who was, my boss was a Christian.
那时候我工作的老板他是基督徒，
And he began to witness to me.
他就开始向我做见证。
And I had always loved, particularly at school, I love maths.
那我在学校里面，我特别喜欢的就是数学，
And particularly trigonometry, geometry, those subjects.
特别是那个几何那些东西。
And so whenever I had a problem, I would just use my mind,
所以我每一次碰到问题的时候，我就是用我的大脑来
try
解
to
决，
work out the answer.
然后尝试用我的逻辑推论找到我需要的答
So
案。
when this man began to witness to me,
所以当我的老板开始跟我做见证的时候，
I began to question him about Christian life.
我就开始挑战他，质疑他一些关于基督徒的生活。
Now, he hadn't had nearly the level of education that I'd had.
那你要知道，我老板他的教育水准跟我
And so when I started asking him these questions, he didn't know the answers.
所以当我问他这些问题的时候，他都回答不出来。
But he had one perfect answer for me.
但是他有一个最完美的答案。
One day when I was asking him these questions about Christian life that he didn't know,
当我有一天在问他关于他这些基督徒的生活是他没有办法回答的时候，
he said this to me.
他就跟我这样说
He said, "James, you'll never find God with your mind."
他说 James 永远没有办法透过你的大脑找到神，
You have to find him on your knees.
他说你是透过你的膝盖找到神的。
And it was the perfect answer for me.
那对我来讲，当下是最完美的答案。
Because the reality is God is not going to relate to you mind to mind.
因为神他不会用他的意念跟你的意念在互动。
The truth is,
你要知道是什么？
your mind is ridiculously stupid for him.
对神来讲，你的意念对他来讲太愚昧、太愚蠢了。
He's not going to find any fellowship with your puny understanding.
他对你那个非常小的意念或者是大脑，他很难跟你互动、跟你交通。
But you'll find him when you search for him with all of your heart.
可是当你全心来寻找他的时候，你就会寻见。
Not 50% of your heart,
不是50%的心去寻
not
找，
90%,
也不是90%的心去寻找，
all of your heart.
是你全心来寻找他的时
And then
候。
when we look at some of the great leaders of Christian, or say walking with God down through the centuries,
如果我们回头看教会历史当中这一些信心的伟人、这些领袖，
firstly look at Moses.
你如果我们回溯在圣经里面的这些的伟人，我们
The
看到
book of
摩
Acts
西，
says about him
使徒行传告诉我们讲到关于摩西，
that he was raised in all of the wisdom of the Egyptians.
他是在以色列，他是在埃及的所有的知识跟智慧当中被养育的。
And the book of Acts says
可是使徒行传这样告诉我们，
that Moses was mighty in word and in deed.
在他所做的跟他所说的都是极有能力的。
And when he tried to use his power to become the deliverer of Israel,
当他尝试用他自己的能力来拯救以色列的时候，
using his understanding of his position and his place,
使用他的知识跟他的身份来拯救以色列。
he killed a couple of Egyptian soldiers.
他打死了以色列的兵丁，
He was
对，打死了埃及的兵丁。
He was mighty in deed as well as word.
是的，没有错，他的言语跟他的能力，
He used all of his abilities
他使用他所有的恩赐、才干、能力，
and ended up running for his life.
却最后必须要逃离埃及，
Ran off into the desert for 40 years.
跑到旷野里面40年之久，
Came to a place where he had no confidence in himself.
走到算是人生的尽头，不再有任何的盼望，也不再对自己有任何的自信。
Where in his mind he couldn't speak anymore.
在他的想法，在他自己的意念当中，他是拙口笨舌，是口才不好的。
All of his eloquence had gone.
他所有的口才都已经离开了。
40 years in the wilderness,
40年在旷野，
looking after a few sheep.
就是只是在那边照顾羊群
In。that place,
在那一个地方，
God prepared him to be the deliverer of Israel.
神预备他成为拯救以色列的人。
It was a work in his heart that
在
needed to be done.
40年当中是在工作，在他心的里面，
And all the knowledge and wisdom of his mind had to come to nothing.
过去他所有头脑里面的知识跟智慧都必须要完
Let
全
me
的
just say
相符。
again. Let
让
me
我
just,
再次说，
if you're going to be a doctor,
如果你要做医生，
you're going to need to have a good IQ and be able to use it very well.
你要有一个好的 IQ， 而且可以好好的使用。
If you're going to be an architect or an astronaut,
如果你要做一个你太空人，或者是要做一个建筑师，
you're going to have to really work hard with your brain.
你需要好好的用你的大脑来使用这些的
But
知识。
what we've done
但是我们做了什么？
is we've taken those skills into Christian leadership.
我们把这些恩赐、才干、能力，一个成功的医生，一个成功的建筑师的所需要的能力，带进到一个成功的基督徒领袖里。
And we've majored on education as the basis for leadership.
我们觉得在基督徒当中的领导是因着教育而来的，
Whereas the Lord looks upon the heart.
可是主却是看人的内心的。
So we see Moses was prepared in the wilderness to work for the Father.
所以摩西是在旷野里面，在那边被预备来为父
We
亲
see
来
the
工
same
作
with。David,
我们看见大卫也是，
a boy rejected by his brothers and his father,
是在年幼的时候是被自己的父亲、被自己的兄长拒绝的，
left out in the wilderness to look after a few sheep.
在旷野里面，他就是在那里牧羊。
But out there in the wilderness by himself,
可是就在旷野，当他一个人独处的时候，
he obviously met God as his Father.
他 开始，他就在那个地方遇见到神是他的父亲。
In Psalm 89 we read,
在诗篇第89篇，我们读到
God himself speaking about David said,
神讲到大卫的时候，神这样说：
He shall call me father.
他要称我为父亲。
And so David knew God as father above all of the other prophets and people before him.
所以远超过在大卫之前的先知跟士师，大卫对神的认识是他是他的父亲。
And of course, God called him a man after my own heart.
神称大卫是一个合我心意的人，
Not a man after my wisdom or a man after my knowledge.
不是一个合我智慧、合我知识的人，
He called him a man after my heart.
是合我心的人。
When we look at Paul,
当我们看保罗的时候
the，Apostle Paul,
保罗
a man who was filled with knowledge of the ways of the God of Israel.
他里面充满了许多的知识，特别关于以色列的这位神的
You
知
see,
识。
when we look at Paul as a man,
当我们看保罗的时候，
he had a very unique life.
他的过去人生是非常独特的。
He had obviously been top student when it came to religious studies.
当讲到宗教的训练的时候，他是一个非常好的学生。
He was chosen to go from Tarsus to sit and be taught in Jerusalem.
他从大树那边被选到，可以在耶路撒冷那边在那边学习。
He sat at the feet of the greatest teacher of Israel, Gamaliel.
他当时学习的对象是以色列当下最好的一位老
And
师
he
加
later
玛列。
said
然后他之后这样说，
that he surpassed most of the others his own age.
他的智慧跟知识是远超过当时同年龄的人。
So he was top student,
你可以说他是他们班上最顶尖
highly
的，
intelligent.
是非常有聪明的。
But not only that,
但是不止这样，
he was incredibly zealous.
他也是极其的热心。
He did what he believed
他就去做他任何认为是对的事，他都去做。
to a degree that most intellectuals would not do.
他甚至会做激进到一个地步，是其他那些理性的人不会做的事。
To the point where he was willing to kill those who disagreed with him.
到一个地步，是任何跟他意念、跟他思想不同的人，他会去迫害，甚至要他们死。
And he personally tortured people to renounce Christ.
他就会虐待人，使他们能够要弃绝基督。
Believing that he was serving the Lord because of his knowledge.
然后他认为他是借着他的知识在服侍这位以色列
Of
的
course,
神。
we know what happened to Paul.
我们知道后来保罗发生的事，
I like to think of it like this.
我都喜欢从这个角度来思想。
He was riding on his high horse to Damascus.
他骑着他的高高在上，骑着他的马往大马色的路上。
Way up higher than everybody else.
他的马比所有人都还要高。
And the Lord knocked him off his high horse.
然后神把他从他的高的在上的那个马
Struck him blind
把他击倒下来，让他眼瞎了，
to show them that he couldn't see.
让他真的看见他是看不见的。
And Paul discovered
然后保罗就发现一
that
件
in
事，
all of his knowledge,
在他所有的知识里，
he was actually working against the Lord.
他其实是在抵挡主。
His Christian life, if you like to call it,
如果你可以称他的基督徒的人生
was based on knowledge and zeal
是根据知识跟热忱，
to the nth degree.
他的知识跟热心是到你没有办法想象的。
And then he got filled with the Spirit, of course,
后来被圣灵充满，
and sent out into the desert for 3 years.
然后就被差遣到旷野3年，
And then he went home to Tarsus for another 10 years,
后来又回到大树10年，
right away from everything he'd known before,
从过去所有他知道的一切的知识跟智慧里，
so that God could teach him how to be a man of God.
以致把这些东西都卸下，以至于神可以教导他怎么样成为一个合
And
神
all of
心
the
意的
things
人。
he'd learned
过去他所学的一切，
had actually taken him away from the Lord.
其实使他远离了
Now,
他所爱的那位
I'm not
主。
saying that your brain is no use. I've got one.
我不是说你的大脑没有任何的用途，我也有大脑。
And I've read my Bible through many, many times in my life.
然后我过去读圣经读了很多遍，
And I have learned what's in there.
我也学会在圣经里面所记载所讲的
But
东
what
西。
we need to understand
但是我们需要明白的是什么？
is that all of that knowledge does not grow you or mature you even 1 millimeter.
所有这一些的知识是不会使你的生命长大成熟，连 1公分都1毫米都不会。
You see, even the devil knows the Bible better than any of us in this room.
甚至魔鬼对圣经的熟悉度都比你我还要熟悉，你知道吗？
He knows every meaning of every word all the way through.
他知道每一个经文每一句话，
He probably knows it in Greek and in Chinese and in English and in
他
every
甚
other
至也可
language.
能知道圣经的不同的版本、不同的语言。
It doesn't make him mature.
可是那不会使他成熟
He
啊，
hasn't even started.
他连开始都没有
He，can't, of course.
他没有办法。
You see, knowledge is not the way.
你要知道，知识不是那条道路。
And I want to look at a verse in 1 Corinthians chapter 8 that Paul wrote.
我们来看哥林多前书第8章，保罗在这边怎么说？
I love this verse.
我很喜欢这节经文，
This verse brought me face to face with my own intellect.
因为这节经文让我必须面对面来看我自己的理性。
It's a wonderful verse.
这是一个非常美好的经文。
It's well, let's read from verse 1.
我们从第1节开始来读好了。
He says, "Now concerning things offered to idols."
论到祭偶像之物，
And then the statement, "We know that we all have knowledge. Knowledge puffs up, but love builds up."
我们晓得我们都有知识，但知识是叫人自高自大，唯有爱心能造就人。
He says we all have knowledge,
他说我们都有
and
知
we
识，
do.
我们都有的。
But he says love basically, knowledge makes you proud.
但是知识会使你骄傲，
Knowledge elevates you above other people.
知识会使你自高自大，远超过其他人。
It's like a balloon, it puffs up.
就好像是一个气球一样，知识就是不断充气，它就会越来越大，
And it looks impressive,
看起来是很美，
but there's nothing inside a balloon.
可是，在气球里面你什么都没有。
And he's talking about the substance that God is really looking for in us.
他在讲的是神正在寻找里面那个实质。
But verse 2 is the verse I want to look at.
第2节是我们要来看的。
Paul writes,
保罗这样说：
"If anyone thinks he knows anything,
若有人以为自己知道什么，
he knows nothing yet as he ought to know."
按他所当知道的，他仍是不知道。
Two different knowledges.
有2种不同的知识，
There's a knowledge that comes from thinking,
有一种知识是来自于你的思想、你的逻辑，
and then there's another knowledge he talks about.
有另外一种知识是他所讲的。
And his first statement is,
他所讲的第一句话是
of
什么？
course, he's talking about walking with the Lord.
他在讲的是与神同行。
He says, if anyone thinks that he knows anything,
然后他说，如果有人认为他知道什么，
in other words, if we have knowledge according to thinking and intellectual study,
就是照着我们的理性，照着我们的教育，我们认为我们所有的知识。
Paul says he knows nothing yet as he ought to know.
保罗说他根本就不知道他应该要知道的。
And then he says, but if anyone loves God, this one is known by him.
但是第3节说，若有人爱神，这人乃是神所知道的。
And he shows the other knowledge is about love.
他讲到另外一个知道是关于爱，
It's the knowledge of relationship.
是一个关于关系的知道，
It's the knowledge of being loved by God and loving him back.
是一个关于神爱我们，然后我们回应他的爱的知识。
And we have turned a lot of the whole issue of intellectual study into maturity.
我们把过去在世界上面的理性的这样的一个成熟，变成我们灵命生命成熟的方
But
式。
Christian maturity is about the heart.
但是基督徒的灵命成熟是关乎我们的心，
It's the healing,
是我们的心得到医治，
the setting free,
我们的心得到释放，
and the development of our hearts.
让我们的心可以长大成熟。
And it cannot happen quickly,
这样的事不会很快的发生，
and you cannot fake it.
也没有办法假
But when
装
it's。there,
可是当它真的发生的时候，
it is in connection with all wisdom.
那样的一个关系，那样的一个知识，会让你连接于那个无穷的智慧。
This is what Christian maturity is.
基督徒的灵命成熟应该是如此。